Amazing.
So people will be able to look
keep
in
saying
this
that.
city views. I know, it really is amazing.
There's no other
Good word.
Exactly.
Lisa Petrik with Jameson Sotheby's. I'm here today with Corey Robertson, and we are here to talk about this amazing project. I cannot wait to hear all the juicy details of how this came to fruition, how this whole project happened. Please tell me everything.
Thanks, Lisa. St Boniface Cathedral has been here in the Noble Square neighborhood for over 100 years. But the Catholic Church desanctified St. Boniface in 1990.
Okay.
So over the last 30 years, there's been different development groups who have come in to try to decide what they wanted to do with the church, because it's absolutely beautiful.
Not the first.
We're not the first.
Okay.
We're not the first. So the pendulum swung over the last 30 years. You'd find like a preservation group would coax a small-time developer to see if they could take the church down and try to do something with it.
Okay.
But a lot of times those people of that sort of smaller scale, they might have the gunpowder to close on the church, but they didn't have the gunpowder to do the whole deal.
Got it.
And so, when they ran into a wall on numbers, then some other group would come in and say, "Oh, we're going to build a senior center and we're going to knock it down." And
Ew.
and then right. And so the neighborhood would go nuts, and then they'd get another savior builder who says, "I'll try," and they try to do it. But when you get to a church of this scale, it's not like building 3 flats and 6 flats.
Yeah.
It's you have to take down a very large parcel, and then this is actually a planned unit development. So, this is gonna be cool. We'll go take a look at it. We'll take a look at it in a little bit. So
You couldn't change any of the exterior.
we can add to it some, but for the most part, the exterior is in place.
Okay.
The windows, the actual windows that were in the church don't meet code. Those will be all replaced with new, but the openings will be there and they'll be the same. And so it's gonna look like a church. It's gonna be quirky, just embrace the quirk.
And you have so many people running in to buy, so it shouldn't have been a concern, but you didn't know.
We didn't know at the time. At the time, it's a little scary, to be like, oh, well, this room's gonna be big.
Something different, which I love.
And that's the other thing. It's like different muscles when we're designing the unit. Like it feels like leg day, like when we're doing something like this, which I hate leg day. We have a lot of renderings of what things are going to be looking like, the combination of new versus the architectural elements that come through. We have a mock kitchen over here, as well as a sample of our finishes that'll be available in the building. So, because when you're standing in the church, you can't focus and talk at floor plans. You're just staring around going, oh my God, this is so cool.
I didn't know. Okay, I think I'm ready to get going. Are you
All
ready
right,
to get going?
I'm ready to get going.
Let's go.
All right.
So we're inside.
Yeah.
We brought the boss. We brought the boss lady.
Hi, I'm Katrina.
So she's gonna walk us through. Corey, you'll still be involved. You're great. You're great.
I know.
But she's got everything. She's the boss lady. So where should we start?
Yeah, perfect. So I'm the lead sales rep on the project. My name's Katrina Carthen. I work under Corey. This is the church. So when I do church tours, I'll walk people through the space and kind of talk about the history. So what I was kind of saying to you a little bit earlier is the church. So it's built in 1904. Yeah. And you can see based off all this architecture here, there's a ton of work that needs to get done and a ton of work that has been done with all this beautiful space.
But you're keeping a lot of the...
Yeah, so a lot of what you're seeing throughout here, so you'll see like industrial exposed beams, things that do have to go. So it's actually fully insulated with horsehair, which is pretty cool.
Who knew
It's
that they
pretty cool.
did that?
So with that insulation, it doesn't meet code, so we do have to take it out. And then things beyond it too, like all the scaffolding and the paints and things like that, it's just so old. So we are taking that out. We're gonna replicate it and we're gonna keep those industrial exposed beams, things like that.
100-year-old oak beams?
So so the church is actually a brick and steel structure with then plaster on the inside. But the way they did things back in 1904 is that they would put old oak furring strips behind the plaster, and the plaster has horsehair in it. both of those things are just wildly flammable. You can't possibly meet code
Not
today.
ideal.
You got to remove it. It's cool and ornate and beautiful, but it's got to go if you're going to build a new construction. We'll take a lot of pictures. Some of the cornices that are interesting, when they cut them out, if they don't fall apart, we're saving some of those as some cool sort of like hanging on the wall gifts that we'll be giving to people, to try to bring some of that back in. But for the most part, it's a new construction building inside the church, just using the exterior elements. I think the interior vibe will be a bit more industrial with
those high ceilings.
With the with the exposed beams and the higher ceilings and the brick, and then the windows though will be clearly church.
Yeah, the windows are cool. So if you look at this rose window actually over here, so it's probably one of the coolest features here of the church, and the lighting's hitting just perfectly, but it's 18 feet by 18 feet tall.
Wow.
So we don't want to break up windows. We want to make sure that you can have all the elements in your space at a single window. So we're actually going to make that into a duplex penthouse unit.
Genius.
And so that is going to be consistent for all of the fourth floor penthouses, and they will have a duplex level.
Amazing.
So truly, from the bottom of that rose window all the way up to the peak, we're talking like 35 feet.
Amazing.
So the first 10 feet, and then we're looking at 25 feet from that second level. So for here, we'll highlight it. I'll give the specs, and then I'll show the corresponding floor plan.
So if you could go back for me, and then so like this, the steeple area.
The bell towers.
Yes.
Yes. So
Who
bell towers,
is using that? Is that connected to a unit?
Yeah. So this is probably the coolest feature.
Yeah.
Those bell towers are going to be private outdoor spaces for the
Amazing.
units. Yeah.
Amazing.
So people will be able to look
keep
in
saying
this
that.
City views. I know, it really is amazing.
Good word.
Exactly.
Man, how cool is that? These arched trusses moving through the space, open, like so. And some of those show up in rooms. Like I said, you have to like embrace the quirk here. Your room layout, your furniture layout needs to incorporate those trusses that move through.
So yeah, like I was explaining before, there is tons to see, and a lot of people also really want to see it. So we are actually going to be having our appointments in the sales center where Corey had mentioned it at 1430 West Chicago. So we start there and then we'll come here to the space. There's obviously lots of work that needs to be done. So these won't actually be completed until spring of 2023.
Okay.
So we're looking at 18 or so months from now.
Okay.
Because we have lots of work to do and lots of customizations to make. So
Awesome.
that's what we're pretty much looking at for right now.
Maybe we'll come back during.
Yes, you should. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you both. This was amazing.
Yeah, yep. Thanks for coming to St. Boniface.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.